All right, everybody. Okay, let me turn on my chat here. All right, well, here we are, guys. Welcome to Sacred Soulful Sundays. It's really great to see you guys. I really needed to be with my crew. I'm so happy to see all your faces and be back and see Ella. Very, very happy wedding celebrations to you. Congratulations. And many blessings to Linda, who had an amazing event this week. She came out of the overworked wilderness. So I'm so happy that you're back with us. And Lily, it's so good to see you. I'm so excited. All right, so I wanted to talk today about something. Firstly, I wanna just like say that usually I get a weekly download, and I am so used to this weekly download by now. Imagine, guys, it has been 4 years, almost 4 years that I have been doing this. It blows my mind. Today is my 35th wedding anniversary. Yesterday, my granddaughters turned 4 years old, which is unbelievable to me because they were born on March 16th, 3 months early, and they were 2.5 pounds. We were still in the apartment waiting for our house to be finished when that happened. Carlos and I were in bed. It was like 1:30 in the morning. We were asleep. And my daughter calls me and says, "Mom, don't be scared, but I had the babies." And I literally, Carlos and I jumped out of the beds. Like we literally bounced off the beds and landed on the ground standing. Of course, we couldn't do anything because nobody could go see our daughter. COVID had shut everything down, and I remember that was the longest 6 months of my life, waiting to be able to see my granddaughters live and in person. And we were all very scared, and so much has changed and evolved since then. I can't believe it's been 4 years, and they're amazing, such an amazing blessing in my life. So for some reason, there are these marked moments with pregnancies and birth that kind of thematically play out in my life. This is how I know how long I've been doing interior design, because my son was born. I was pregnant when I got my first interior design job, and that was 39 years ago. So there are some incredible milestones happening, but the biggest and most important milestone timeline, I want to call it a timeline because, as you know and as we know, we are in a state of spiritual awakening, but we are on a timeline that is marked by destiny. It's fated. And 2024 is a remarkably significant year. Okay? And that's the reason that I wanted to bring this up today. Because we are literally in the midst of a transformational moment in destiny and time for the earth plane. We don't realize it because we're in it. It's kind of like we are in the movie as actors, as players. We're on the stage, and we are also in the audience. That's the best way that I can describe this, okay? And being in that duality is exhausting. That's all I can say. It is exhausting to be playing an actor. This is how I'm in total admiration of directors that are also the actors in a movie. I don't even know how they do it. Think about it. How many people that are so talented that let's say, for A Star Is Born, like you watch Bradley Cooper, he's in the movie, but he's also directing the movie, right? How the hell do you do that? Well, that's what we're doing here, folks. We are at once playing out the roles of our soul's purpose at this moment in time within the movies of our lives. And at the same time, we are in the audience observing it. That's how it feels. So the energy that it takes to do this is huge. Okay? And guess what? Some of those actors that are on the stage that surround us in our lives are just on the stage. And that's okay, because that's where they are. But we are acting out and also in the audience, observing them and at the same time emotionally reacting to what we are watching. Does that make sense? Okay. So we get a double whammy of emotions happening within us. We are excited to be in this journey because we've waited, we've decided, we chose to be here through our own free will. And yet we are also in a state of awareness that watches the movie saying and crying. Like, how many times have you not watched a movie and it's a tearjerker, right? And you're crying and you're like, why am I crying? It's just a movie. But you feel it, right? You feel it. So this is how I can describe what we're experiencing. Now, every week, as you know, I get a download. And this week was, for the past 2 weeks, I kept thinking, okay, it's just because I'm sick. I can't breathe well. I've had this bronchitis, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting the download. And yet, here's the funny thing about it. All that time, I was getting the one number show up every single day, all day long. 8, 8, 808, 808, 808, 808, 808. Every day, 3 or 4 times a day, 808. And I was almost ignoring it. I was like, what's, because most of my downloads come as language. I'm a language girl. I'm a wordsmith, right? So most of the time I receive my messages as a language, as a word. And finally there was a word, and I will mention that in a moment. But what was coming through was 8. 8, 8. And I could not figure out what the heck they were trying to tell me. Finally it hit me. Oh my God. 2024 is 8. When you, in numerology, when you add all of the numbers, 2024, it adds up to 8. And all of a sudden, I got the download. I'm like, oh my God, it's about 2024. It's about me speaking about what 2024 is. Okay? So 2024 is an 8 energy. What is an 8 energy? And it's funny because I grabbed this little hair tie because I want to show you what 8 is. 8 is a circle that becomes an infinity. It has no beginning and it has no end. Okay? 8 energy is a very turbulent energy because it is at once, like I said, you're in the audience and you're also the actor on the stage. It has no beginning, it has no end. It is infinite. It is a continuous loop over and over and over again, meaning that we are in this 8 energy together in a moment in time in which we are at once can be amazingly abundant if we are in alignment with the duality that we are experiencing. Okay? Now, what does that mean? This also, let me explain again. I want you to understand that one of the biggest meditations that I use for myself is the infinity meditation. And the infinity meditation is significant because if you notice, the 8, right, has a cross and an intersection at its midpoint, right? That's what an 8 is, right? The cross and midpoint of the intersection is our heart. It's the midpoint of our chakra system. Do you understand? Our hearts, it is the sign of eternity, yes. Infinity, never ending, never, always. We are infinite people. We are infinite in our beingness. As souls, we are no beginning and no end. Okay? We are also, the significance of that midpoint in the 8 is to remind us to be in our hearts, but to never reject. And I spoke about this last week because, of course, those of you who weren't on the call, and I didn't stream, obviously, so sorry about that. But I spoke about spiritual balance. I spoke about spiritual balance because what's happening to us is that we're having a very hard time being in our hearts without judgment, not judging those around us that are not at the stage of their spiritual awakening yet, meaning having their heart wide open. Okay? And we at the same time are judging ourselves for moments in which we falter and fall into the humanity of our lower chakras. Okay? We must, and this is the message of 2024, and the word, by the way, that came in for me about 2024, the word was turbulence. This is a turbulent time. Now, we've experienced that word when we're sitting on a plane, right? Most of us by now know what it's like to experience turbulence, okay? That is the energy of 2024 because it is volatile. It is both aspects of what we are to become merged into one, okay? And that causes... What is turbulence? When the air is like not here and not there, right? Like we experience it as a chaos, right? And we have to put our seatbelts on, okay? We have to get grounded. We have to be so firmly grounded in our hearts to be able to handle the turbulence that is around us in this year. So I wanted to ask you guys, how have you been doing on this first quarter? Because we're only 3 months in. We're only 3 months in this incredibly significant year that is 2024. Okay? And I don't know about you guys, but it has been an incredibly interesting, contrasting polarity world for me. Okay? There have been extreme ups and extreme downs. Like these, I feel turbulent. I feel like it's not like smooth sailing. It is a rough ride. Okay? That's how I feel. And I feel that a lot of you are going through that too. Do you feel out of sorts? Do you feel that there's days that you are like, oh my God, okay, let me brace myself. Let me strap on my seatbelt for the day. That's how I've been feeling, okay? Absolutely, Linda. Yes. So far this year has thrown curveballs at me. Yes, and I feel like it's definitely not done. No, we are not done, ladies. We are not done. We are only beginning. It's going to get weirder. Okay? It's going to get weirder. I know. So brace yourselves. It's kind of like the pilot in the plane is telling you, listen, we're going to go through some rough air. So strap yourselves in, and I'll tell you what the key to navigating this time is. So just as I was saying that today, that 2024 is an 8 numerology, I want you all to take the time to figure out your personal number for this year. And I'll tell you how you do that. Okay? You take the date of your birth, the month of your birth, and you add it to the number 2024. Okay? If you want to take a minute to do that. My number for this year is a 5. And that's another number that has been coming in again strongly for me for quite a long time as 555, 555, 555. And 5 is change. Change, change, change. Okay? Yes, you add the month, you add the day, and then you add the year. And then when you get to that number, if it's a 2-digit number, you add those two together. Does that make sense? So for me, it was 12, 12, 20, 24. When I added all the numbers up and at the end, I add them again, I get to 1 digit. And that 1 digit is the thematic number for your year. Now, you can look up and you can Google, it's all over the place, YouTube, whatever, what that number signifies for 2024 for you. Okay? So overall, the thematic energy of 2024 is an 8, which is abundance, harvesting, manifesting, infinite, but you must be in alignment. So it can be turbulent if you are not in harmony. So if you haven't done your shadow work, for me personally, these first 3 months, my themes, my played out themes came up for me again. I thought that I had gotten rid of them. I thought that I was fine. Yeah, right. No way. Hence the bronchitis again. The not being able to breathe, the remembrance, because I was asthmatic as a child, as my mom, who's on this call, knows very, very strongly. How many times was I in the hospital? All the time. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. So every time that I get this, and see, I'm coughing already. Every time that I get this, it is a reminder and a remembrance of my childhood issues. When I was a young girl, I was allergic to everything. My mom hated feeding me because it took about 2 hours just to feed me. And when I was done, I'd throw it up. So that was a lot of fun for her, I'm sure. So not being able to breathe is a thematic metaphor for me, for my issues, for my shadows, which are twofold. And you guys know me well enough to know what those two thematic themes for me were. They were running out of time or impatience, like wanting to do it all at one time, which I did again. These first 2 months of the year, I decided that I was going to do it all. And once again, I crashed. So it was like, B, excuse me, you're not supposed to be in that mode ever again. That's my running theme, running out of time and being impatient and wanting to get it all done. Right? Right, Meech? Yeah, you know that. That's my go-to. My go-to is be, do everything, right? Just do instead of be. Guess what? I should know better by now, right? That's my running theme. And the second running theme that I have going on in myself is I'm not enough. So I have to do more. I'm not enough. I have to do more. So why am I admitting this? Why am I confessing this to my dear, lovely friends on this chat? Because I want you to get to the bottom of your theme and find out if it's still running. When you do your numbers, this exercise that I've given you, let's see, we have a 7, we have a 9, we have a 6. When you look these up, tell me if thematically that is running in your 2024. Because I'm telling you, 2024 will kick your ass. Okay? It will kick your ass if you don't get yourself straightened out. And it kicked my ass, okay, this first quarter. So what the angels were wanting me to tell you was pay attention. Pay attention to the energetic theme of your life this year, because you must. There is no option anymore, guys. There is no option to ignore, escape, procrastinate the work that you must do. Because if you do, it will keep hitting you across the head and it will turn into a dis-ease that will kick your ass. Okay? I'm being super blunt and super strong right now because I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay? I can't emphasize this enough for all of you. This is a message that was coming through. They loved running it through me. And I'm going to give you the biggest tip that I can give you to navigate the turbulence of this year. Let me tell you what the tip is. Acceptance of where you are right now. Surrender, and I mean deep, did I say deep? Deep surrender to God. Deep surrender to love. Deep surrender to being in your heart space. In fact, I want you all every morning to take 3 deep breaths and bring yourselves out of your heads and into your hearts. Please. Because we must stay in that space of our hearts. That is what we are designed to do. Our bodies that are now spiritually awake, because I'm saying I'm not making a mistake when I say our bodies that are in a spiritually awake state. What does that mean? We are no longer capable of staying in our heads. We used to be able to stay in our heads and just stay in our thoughts and be able to feel like we're in control. Okay? That is bullshit. Sorry, Evelyn. I know I used the word, but I don't care. It's that important. She's my YouTube police. Okay? But there's no better word to describe the BS of staying in our heads. That is the paradigm of the past. We cannot sustain our spiritual awakening journey healthily, and I mean that, healthily in our bodies, if we stay in our heads. What does that mean? That means that we must accept that our minds are always going to be machinating all of these ideas, because that's what the ego does. But we must continue to bring ourselves into our heart space. We must have a practice Okay, and I challenge you all to have a practice. Maybe for you, whatever it is, maybe in the morning. I love the way Lourdes said RPMs. What is it? Rise, pee, meditate. I love that one. I won't forget that, Lourdes. That was great. RPM. Her practice has been that she rises, she goes to the bathroom, and she meditates. And that works for her to set her day straight and to make sure she's in her heart space. We need to stay in our heart space, guys. Just like the infinity, we need to be able to stay in that midpoint between our upper chakras and our lower chakras. We must accept our lower chakras, because let me tell you one of the things that is the theme also. We are, in fact, bodies, okay? We are mind, body, spirit entities. There's no denying that we are in physical form, right? I don't care, we can be as spiritually awake as we want. Oh, RPM is credit to Anna Tudor. Oh, I love Anna Tudor. That's great. I love it. There's no denying that we are in 3D, third density bodies, okay? We are here. Like what was it? That reminded me of Horton Hears a Who. We are here. Yes, we are here, okay? But we are not just here, okay? We are here, and we are here, okay? And it's all of those components joined together that make us what we are at this moment, at this time, okay? And if we're able to learn collectively, to be in our heart space and stay in our heart space, we are going to reap the rewards of the energies that are coming into the planet. In other words, we will be able to flow with it. We will be able to stay in alignment, not get sick in our bodies. This is the message that's been coming through for me. In other words, me being sick and getting back to these asthmatic times, it's almost, I feel literally like I'm back to being 10 or 11 years old, where I couldn't breathe half of the time. Okay? And I recognize that I did it to myself, that I ran the same themes over again for myself, that I started acting in the same, not acting, but I started behaving in the way that I was to get things done, which was go into survival mode, do, and not be. Okay? So I say this to you so that you can take the time to take kind of like an audit, okay? Audit yourself. Be honest with yourself and ask yourself, am I in my head about things, or am I in my heart? Am I accepting every aspect of myself? Am I in alignment with what I am right now and where I'm going? Because we chose to be here at this time, to be the light workers and to be the grounded, heart-spaced beings that are going to help the world navigate these turbulent times. This is the truth, guys. I could not be more strongly emphasizing how important this is. Okay. And any of you that have been experiencing this turbulence, maybe experiencing it in anxiety, maybe experiencing it in a physical ailment like I did, which was literally the asthma and the bronchitis coming back, or just a feeling of like, exhaustion. Okay. I don't know. Does anybody want to share how they're navigating this? How are they feeling? I'd love to hear it because I don't think it's just me. I know Evelyn has been experiencing a throat chakra thing that.
Yes, and actually, I think I've said this before. As a child, I had recurring sore throats. And yeah, and I was always on antibiotics, which I know at the time wasn't a good thing, but that's what, Cuban moms did. They give you antibiotics. But, and I usually ride out colds. I don't get sick often, and I ride them out, and I go holistic, and I do the echinacea, and I do all the good things, the chicken soup and the garlic and the lemon and all that. However, this time I had two of them were really bad colds, and the third one felt like I had a stone in my throat. It was very scary. So like you, I had an epiphany. I just drove to the pharmacy and I said, listen, I really need something. And no less than 5 days it was gone.
Yes, and I think that we're in a space that we must do whatever we have to do to get back into alignment. Okay.
Exactly. So you know what it taught me, B? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
It taught me that I am not invincible. I am not invincible, and sometimes you have to surrender and do whatever it takes to get better.
Yes. Yes. And I'm in that space right now too. I'm in a state of surrender. And it's funny because so much so that I wasn't even listening. I wasn't even listening to the messages that were coming in for me until literally a day and a half ago. I had the aha moment of the 8. I was like, oh, you've been talking to me the whole time and I hadn't even heard you. I'm so sorry. I'm like so disconnected. And I wasn't disconnected. I was connected, but I was in my head. You understand? I was in my head. I was not in my heart. And this is what I'm trying to say about the energies of 2024. They're so polarity. They're so all over the place that it's hard to hear your truth. It's hard to hear your truth.
What I have noticed is, things are relatively well in my world, in my movie, but people around me are crumbling. I've had one of our deep, closest friends, they broke up after 8 years and it really devastated us. So I've seen other people having
a lot of hard time
around me, and me having to give comfort and wisdom and coaching and helping.
There you go. That's how I feel. Yes, Michi?
This week has been rather intense. It started out, remember I told you about that accident?
Yes.
That I saw the whole thing and I saw the guy flat on the floor, and it was really, really hard to watch and see. And it just turns out, just get this, it turns out I'm starting to train this new lady. I met her yesterday for the first time. She tells me that her son was the ambulance that arrived to that scene, to the guy.
Oh my God.
And she told me, because I was wondering if that guy survived or not. But apparently he did. But his face was completely smashed, according to what she told me. I couldn't believe, what a coincidence that I go, to meet this new person I'm training, and it just so happens that her son was at that scene of that accident.
Yeah, my sister witnessed a motorcycle accident right in front of her that she was in tears about.
Yeah, I basically came home bawling, and this was like 6:45 in the morning. I came home and I was like,
the thing is that she had a premonition.
Yeah,
during
right before it. I knew
right before she had a premonition that this guy was going to get hurt, and he did. A car hit him, and he flew in the air and landed. And Michelle thought that he had died.
personally thought he was dead on instant, but he actually survived. I don't know what kind of conditions he's gonna be from now on because his face was flat on the floor, but I don't even want to think about it. But well, it just so happens that I happened to train this lady and her son was at the scene of the accident. You know, it was so weird. But for me, as far as the body finding things, my neck, I have 2 knots on the back of my neck that just keep coming up. And it gives me headaches, those knots. Like I wake up that way. So that's what I'm experiencing.
Yes, so we're going to go through, like I said, we're 3 months in, guys. Can you believe it's March? Almost the end of March. We're 3 months in, and I'm telling you it's going to get weirder. We're going to experience more turbulence this year, and the message that the angels are bringing me is to please not despair. Please don't despair. On the contrary, understand that this is a necessary transition. A necessary transition so that we can become the connected, unified, loving humanity that we are supposed to become. That it's not going to be overnight, that it's going to take years. This is a process, but that 2024 is the year that we have been waiting for, that we have been building to. That 4 years in after COVID, we have become a society that is on the trajectory of harvesting a spiritual awakening of grand scale. That it is actually good news. This is what they're telling me, and this is what I'm communicating today. So don't despair. Be strong and stay in your hearts. Be in loving devotion. Okay, and the word, I get goosebumps right now because this is the word that just came for me, is be in loving devotion to the process. Be in loving devotion to the love space that is building in humanity right now. It may not look that way from the outside, but it is growing from the inside. Okay? This is what is happening, and this is the message that I'm bringing right now. I'm getting emotional because I have been like receiving a lot of good news. Okay, it's really good news, but it doesn't feel that way to us right now. So hang on, fasten your seatbelts, get grounded, and stay in your hearts. Okay? I want you to be willing to confront what's holding you back in order to manifest your abundance, because whatever runs over the edge of your life is what you're going to give away. So we must fill our cups first. We must do our own work because collectively we are doing the work. And the faster that you are able to clear out any residual themes and patterns of the past that are holding you back, the faster you will reap the rewards of abundance and light that will in turn help others with their times of turbulence. This is the message that I have been receiving. This is the message I'm here to bring today, and this is the theme of 2024. And as you know, this is it's going to be an interesting ride as we go into the election process this year. The division and energetic turbulence that's going to be in this country is going to be grand. So we're going to need to stay grounded for ourselves and for others because we need to be in a space of love. We really do. Lily, did you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to interject and tell you that I heard, I was going to tell you last week, but anyway, I heard that next time you're sick and for some of us, it could be now. It says, instead of wishing it away and damning it, because that's what we do when we get sick, love it. Thank you. Go out
Yes.
of your Thank whatever it is. You're going to see how much easier with flow you go through that. So, of course, I got sick on Tuesday. I am asthmatic and bronchial.
Oh God, another one.
Never bronchioles. And this is the first time in a long, long time that it doesn't happen, because I tried it out. And I asked, you know what? Whatever reason, whatever germs back are inside me, because you're making me take time out. You're making me take time out. I actually felt the need to go outside. I got a towel, laid down on the grass, and just got sunlight. We've had a beautiful week. And I
Yes.
laid and I sat there and I let sunlight go on me because I didn't want to get sick. And I got to tell you, I'm still a little bit stuffy, but it did not get my, and I attribute it to that. And in the movie, very want me to watch Everybody Everywhere All at Once. Weird as that movie is, and it is, it has little nuggets. And one of those is that Jamie Lee Curtis is like this really bad guy coming after the wife. And her husband keeps telling her, just say I love you. And she's like, I love you? How am I going to say I love you to this monster that's trying to kill me? Finds it, and at first it wasn't sincere, and it didn't stop, and until it was sincere that she said I love you to the monster, it went away. She jumped timelines or whatever. Very weird movie filled with beautiful nuggets. So I think there's something to that, and I just wanted to mention it.
Thank you, Lily. That's true. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is like, we know that we cannot change something with the energy that which it was created, right? We know this. And Paul Selig says, what you damn damns you. Okay? So it is true that we must stay in our hearts. We must accept where we are. And that's why I'm saying that I blessed this bronchitis again, because it was here to show me that I was back to repeating patterns of my past. It was here to show me that this not being able to breathe is a significant metaphor for my life, reminding me that I go into survival mode, that I go into doing mode, I go into my head, and that is no longer an option for this spiritually awakened being that I have become. I can no longer go back to those old patterns of myself. Okay? That's the truth of me. And I accept that. And I love what it's here to show me. As painful, as exhausting, as frustrating as it is, I have to love all of those aspects of me. I have to love that I am an overachieving, weird survival mode, rather spend money on learning and torturing myself learning versus taking a vacation and relaxing. This is who I am. I get it. And I have to love myself this way. But I'm not, but the reminder is you have better work to do, B. In fact, you want me to tell you what my prayer was? My prayer was, God, help me to get well so that I can continue to serve in inspiration to others. This was my prayer. I wanted so badly to be here today for all of you, because there was a moment there, and because last week I wasn't even on, I didn't record, I barely was able to get on the call, and there was a moment there that I was like, okay, maybe this is something, maybe I should take a break. Maybe 4 years is enough. Maybe, 4 years of coming on to Sacred Soulful Sundays and getting ready for it and preparing is enough. And the answer was no, B. You're meant to do this. I'll give you the strength. I'll get you well. But you got to learn to self-care too. You have to learn to be in a place where you don't have to do it all the time. That was my learning message. And I'm here. I'm here because I love to give good news. I love to share the love. I love to inspire all of you to be the best that you can be. I love to expand our minds and our consciousness to another level. I know that that is the greater purpose of my being. So I accept it with honor. And I just pray to have the strength to continue to receive the messages that I am blessed to receive and to give. So I want you all to hear the angels today because I had a hard time hearing it. I had a hard time hearing it for the past 2 weeks. But when they finally came through, it made me feel so joyful that I could hear my heart again. So listen to your hearts, stay in your hearts, be the light workers that we are destined to be. We are in a blessed time. Never has there been a time in which we have been able to get to the maturity within ourselves to be spiritually awakened. In other times, people wouldn't make it past 30. Past 40 was, wow, big deal. So imagine, in your 30s, were you even remotely close to the person that you are today? No. Most of us on this call are a little more mature. And we've been able to get to a place where we are because we've had the time to grow in the wisdom, and we're still all a work in progress. So I want you to have this mantra that I'm going to share with you today, okay? Because this is the mantra we're going to remind ourselves every day as we practice to stay in our hearts. I surrender to the power of expansion and abundance in my life. I surrender with devotion and love, in a knowingness that this is the right path and that where I am right now is where I need to be. Okay? So if there's still any areas in your life that you're working on, be in full recognition, and every morning take 3 deep breaths and get yourself out of your heads and into your hearts and hold your space there. Hold that space for all of us and walk around as a beacon of light that emits from this midpoint that is the beautiful DNA chakra center of our hearts. And I promise you, we're going to check in again 3 months from now when we're in the midpoint of this incredible 2024. Let's see what these next 3 months bring us. And let's see how successful we are in staying in our hearts. I think we're doing great. Even if we are getting sick every once in a while, even if we are losing it, even if we are having moments of anger or road rage or whatever that manifests in our daily lives as we navigate our humanity. But I know that there's a lot of good news. So be the good news. Be the light. I love you all. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, ladies. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, B.
You're welcome.
Love you all.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
For